and gentlemen, I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to have a look at the IS-7. Yes, the tank that you should buy. You should buy the IS-7. Obviously, this tank has been a meme for quite a while, and I think someone like Angal created this meme where it's don't buy an IS-7, and it was like a video because it was always being Amarak. Like, it was the easiest tank in the game to Amarak. But since Wargaming, like, sort of, they didn't buff it, but they gave it sort of the different armor profiles. So they made it the PBR, they gave it the graphics, and then it did change the tank ever so much. It has made the armor profile much stronger. The tank looks an absolute beast in the new graphics. It really does. Of course, with the speed and everything about the tank, really, apart from the pike nose, which you have to learn to play, it is a really, really good tank. And again, we was all saying, do not buy an IS-7 back in the day. If you're going to buy a tank, buy the IS-4. And now it's literally, we have done a massive 180 degrees. Yeah, don't buy an IS-4 right now, buy the IS-7. So we're going to have a look at its armor profile. And then we will go and have a look at the armor profile in the game to show you how it works. So, the stats, 2,450 HP, view range 282.5, which is actually very good for a heavy, and you can see the numbers there, 1 out of 22, so it's one of the best for heavy tanks in tier 10. DPM, not so great. I mean, it is down the bottom of the pack at 17th at 2,584. Penetration 260, which is pretty good. The damage is 460. We don't want to see that. The caliber, it is a 130mm gun, so you are doing the 460, so you're doing the more alpha. Rate of fire is 5.62, as we've already said with the DPM, it is a bit low, and the reload time is 10.6. Base aim time, again, not the greatest at 2.63. Dispersion is 0.371. So again, that is pretty low. I mean, 20 out of 22 isn't great at all. It does, however, has 6 degrees of gun depression, so not the best of gun depressions, and the mobility is 45 kilometers going forward, which is very, very nice. But we're here for the armor. We are here for the armor, so let's have a look at the armor. Now, looking at it like that, it does look pretty solid. I'm not going to lie. Now, if you're looking at this tank straight on, then this is where the armor profile should work. And I've explained it. It's ever so simple to play this tank. Like, if you can't hide your lower plate, I mean, the best thing to do is face the enemy. Because you've got that pike nose, the best thing to do is to face the enemy. Yes, you're going to get shot on the lower plate, but if you can try and hide that or wiggle or anything like that, then it will make it very, very difficult. So if you're looking at this tank straight on, then your lower plate is still 258mm thick, which is not bad at all. Of course, if you angle, then it will become a lot weaker. So if you're looking at the tank directly, if you go to the left side, the far left of the pike nose, 333mm, and then the middle bit to 315, on the right side 343, and on the far right is 362. So that's very, very strong, which is why I say you need to look at the tank. Now, a lot of mediums won't be able to penetrate your pike nose. They will be able to penetrate your lower plate, but if you can wiggle or if you can hide that lower plate, then you will get bounces. Now, we're going to start to angle. Now, of course, if we're going to start to angle this side, of course, the lower plate does become a lot thicker, and that's where people sort of get confused with a pike nose. They think angling a tank is all you need to do, but not with a pike nose. Of course, the right side becomes impenetrable, but the left side, as you can see, it's still strong, but it does become a lot thicker, and this is where people using premium rounds will be able to penetrate you nice and easy. And of course, the more you angle, the less armor that front pike nose is, but the more armor your lower plate is. Now, it does have spaced armor, so it's very, very hard. It's very, very, very troll playing this tank. So you've got to try and shoot just above the tracks or on the tracks or just below the turret. If you start shooting this middle bit here, this is where you will start to bounce a lot of shots. And it's frustrating. It is very frustrating when you're coming up against an IS-7 and you shoot this middle pink section and it just does nothing. It really is frustrating. So yeah, if you angle, then you have to angle. You have to learn how to angle the pike nose. If you are going to angle, then you've got to try and hide that pike nose as much as you can. Now the turret, as you can see, very, very strong. And again, if you do start to move your turret, then it does become a bit weaker. As you can see, 300. There's parts on the turret where they can be penetrated. So if you are only showing your turret, don't just sit there in one spot. Make sure you wiggle. Make sure you wiggle, then it will become very, very difficult to be able to penetrate. So that is the tank overall. Yeah, obviously the back and the rear, but this is the best way to actually angle, is reverse side scrape. Obviously it's easier said than done, because if you're in a game, you're not just going to turn around. If you've got tanks in front of you, you're not just going to turn around to reverse side scrape. If you're in a position where you can, then it is good to do so. So we're going to have a look at just a couple of games to show you how the armor profile performs in the battle. So here we are with the IS-7, and just look how beasty that looks. That really does look like an absolute beast. So as I've said, it all depends on the skill level of player that you come up against. And to drive the IS-7, yes, you can get lucky. You know, the armor profile does work a lot of the time, but there's also times where it just don't work at all. You can get shot from the side, but other times you could drive across and you could bounce. People will shoot you from the side and you will just bounce. Now here I am, of course, playing it very, very aggressive, and I want to go forward. Now of course it does only have 6 degrees of gun depression, so you do have to bear that in mind. Now unfortunately for me, I have a T-57 behind me shooting me, and there's not much I can do. But you can see I am angling, but I'm actually quite close to this guy, so I'm trying to get my pike nose right in front of him. So it is a very, very difficult pen, and with the angle I'm at with the Object 907, he shouldn't be able to shoot my pike nose from there. So I'm trying to angle as best as I can, but of course when I've got a T-57 behind me, it really isn't helping. It's my own fault, to be honest. I should have been aware that he was around, but so far, I mean, we've played very aggressive. We haven't tried too hard, and we've bounced 1500 damage. We're not really going to bounce too much more because of that T-57, but we are going to go on and win the game, so it's not all bad. So we don't do much damage, of course. We don't do much damage, and you can see here, whilst I'm at that distance, I was playing, sort of looking at the IS-4 deadly straight on, but when I get closer, that is where I start to sort of turn my tank, because it will still be a difficult pen for him when you're close like that. But when you're from distance, then yeah, it's very, very, it's very, very hard. It is very, very hard, and you do need to learn to play the tank before you go and play it. Now the IS-7 used to be the meta tank. Like when I joined the game, everybody wanted an IS-7. Everybody. It was my first tier 10, and the whole line. You know, the IS was an extremely popular tank in tier 7. The IS-3, the IS-8, they were all very, very popular tanks. Now again, if you angle the way I just did there, then you're not going to bounce anything. You are going to get penetrated, which I thought, you know, I can't sit there. So it's best for me to come around the corner. And yes, I'm coming out sideways, but because I'm coming out sideways, if I show my tank, the first thing he's going to see is actually the right side. Because of this little hill in front, the first thing he's going to see is the right side of my pike nose, which is actually very, very strong. Unless, of course, I do come out too far, then yeah, he will be able to pen my left side, or he would be able to track me, but that's why I'm not actually side scraping at this point. I'm coming out sideways, but I'm making sure that I'm trying to show the right side. Of course there I didn't, because I wanted to get the shot off. So yeah, if I'm showing my right side, then it does become a very difficult pen. So I could actually at this point, reverse side scrape. I had a lot of time to get into that reverse side scraping position, and if I get into that position, then yeah, it will pretty much become an impossible pen for these guys in front of me. But there is one tank down, no one's actually pushing this side, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to push, I'm going to actually push this object 752, and we are actually going to get a nice shot. But again, we're not moving, we're sitting still, and because we're sitting still, we've just gave him another easy pen. So it's not all about sort of the armor with this tank. The gun is nice, it is nice. But the best thing I like about the tank, yes, the armor profile can be very, very troll. That guy pens me no problem whatsoever. It is an ISU-152, even though it is a tier 8 tank, but it's an ISU-152. That guy can pen just about anybody. So that is the IS-7. It is a good tank. The armor profile does work when you know how to work it, but it is a very difficult tank to play. Let me know your thoughts on the IS-7, guys. Go buy it, go try it out, because right now it is a decent tank. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Meadsy, and I'll catch you all soon. Goodbye.